That should do it. Dahlbeck around first, back into fair territory, and he will make the play. And the ball game is over. The Red Sox win this one 7-3 in Toronto. They keep on rolling after a terrific homestand. That's win number 1 on the trip.
Yeah, offensively a little different tonight, right? Not really running Red Sox. This time it's a lot of home runs. 4 of them out of the gate. 2 for that man right there, Tyler O'Neill. Pivetta gives you 7. Kenley locks it down. It's a good way to start the trip.
Good night for the native Canadians as well on the Red Sox roster. This Red Sox win presented by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Again, your final. Red Sox 7 and Toronto 3.
Dare I say this? Dare I say that the Red Sox look like they're starting to get entertaining? Dare I say that? Am I out of my mind for saying such a thing? Let me just read to you some of the scores from the last week or so with the Red Sox games. And in case you didn't notice, the baseball hour is back, and we are here every night now because the Celtics have wrapped up a world championship, which means no more basketball, no more hockey here on 98.5 The Sports Hub, at least until the next season begins, which will be in the fall, which means every night, 6 p.m., right here, we do an hour of baseball every night until 7 o'clock. 617-779-0985 is your number. And I am happy to report, I mentioned this in the last segment, that of Felger and Maz, Trivia Tuesday will return today. In about 25 minutes, we will have reincarnation or resurrection of Trivia Tuesday. But don't call yet. I'll give you the number later. And people who do can get just one trivia question correct. We'll give a gas card from Gulf. We'll give away one every week on Tuesdays. But you got to get the trivia question correct. If you get it wrong, I will ask a different question. I'm not going to ask the same question because then you can look it up and just call it in. So, but anyway, you get the idea. We'll do that at 6:30. 617-779-0985. I want to play for you a comment that Alex Cora made in just a second, but here was my big picture question. Jimmy Stewart, our producer, came to me in the hallway just a little while ago, a couple hours ago, and said, is there a way to connect the Celtics to the Red Sox in some capacity so that we can carry the momentum from the Celtics into the baseball hour? This is the kind of brainstorming we do here at 98.5 in order to try to bring you programming when the Red Sox are not exactly on the radar of every team out there or of every fan out there in the Boston area. So here is the way to do that. The Celtics roster. Jimmy Stewart, if I were to ask you which team resonated more with fans, this Celtics team winning the championship or the one in 2008 with Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, James Posey, Eddie House, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Which one do you think connects more with the Celtics fan base? Who would you say?
I feel like the 08 team does, but I don't feel confident about that. I feel like the 08 one does, but I don't feel confident about that.
Okay, Jimmy, I would say, so I disagree, then I'll tell you why. Did you guys catch that in the background?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, just want to make sure.
Stream wins if they're really listening closely.
Stream wins, exactly right. Just wanted to make sure. Because
Been in angry producer's room today.
I did hear it in my headset. That's all right, I've done it, believe me. You're swearing profanity, you're making or dropping profanity in the background. It can be picked up, nonetheless. I think this Celtics team connects to fans, and let me tell you why. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were drafted by the organization. You've seen them grow. You've seen them struggle. So in that way, I think you can make the argument that this championship was more gratifying to Celtics fans than the team in 2008. Now, the team in 08 had Paul Pierce, had been here a long time. They had a lot of bad teams, a lot of people connected to Paul Pierce, but this does relate to the Red Sox and what they're trying to do. And I'm not telling you the Red Sox are doing it well. I'm just telling you this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to build a nucleus that they can build around and make a run at championships with for years. Whether or not they succeed is an entirely different matter. But the 2008 Celtics, were bought. They really were. They were bought. And Danny Ainge was able to pick up some players along the way, some through the draft. Al Jefferson, which they used in the Kevin Garnett deal. So I don't want to tell you it's totally apples to apples. But the 2000 Red Sox were a team that was kind of bought. Mike Napoli, Shane Victorino, you get the idea. The 2008 Celtics, the nucleus of that team, homegrown, drafted and developed. So if the Red Sox were able to get to that sort of stage, develop homegrown players, and win again, would you be more connected to the, to the organization? I think the answer is yes. So this relates to, in some ways, Rafael Devers, but he was here for the last one. He was here in 2018 when he won that world title. But beyond that, Tanner Houck, Ceddanne Rafaela, you could even say Jarren Duran, certainly Tristan Casas, Connor Wong, who wasn't homegrown per se, but he came into the organization as a minor leaguer, and then you finished his development. You get the idea. Those teams seem to develop a better connection with the city and the fan base. And the brand of baseball that the Red Sox have been playing lately, dare I say, has been fairly entertaining. So I never finished the thought, but some of the games that they've won here in recent days, they beat the Phillies 8-6 and 9-3. They beat the Yankees 8-4 and 9-3, and then they beat the Blue Jays last night 7-3. On Sunday against New York, the Red Sox stole 9 bases. 9. A franchise record. Last night, they homered 4 times, all solo shots, to take a 4-1 lead and won the game 7-3. So you get the idea. They're running, they're playing some defense and making errors. There is entertainment value to that too. They're pitching. Tanner Houck is on the mound tonight. They're hitting the ball out of the ballpark. And now all eyeballs are going to be on them. I will say the Red Sox timing for playing well is pretty good. Because eyeballs are now going to turn to the baseball team. Maybe not as many as in years past. Be interesting to see how much television ratings go up. But I will say over the last week, the Red Sox have won 6 out of 8. They've gone 5-2 against Philadelphia, New York, and now Toronto. And Alex Cora made a comment over the weekend that I thought was kind of interesting because it felt like a little bit of a sales pitch. And Jimmy, what I don't know is whether Cora is anticipating the attention the team is now going to get because the Celtics series is over and the Celtics season is over, or he's trying to just pump up the team in general, appealing to ownership. We had someone call in the other day and say what Cora is trying to do is market himself because he's going to be a free agent at the end of the season. All these things might be true.
I'd believe the latter.
Okay, but Cora said this over the weekend against the Yankees, and it did catch my attention. Go ahead.
We play, man. We're young, and we're going to lose some games. We're going to win some games, It's a good brand of baseball, man. It's fun. The offense, when we're clicking, it's fun to watch. We're going to put pressure on the opposition. The at-bats are getting better, and pitching-wise, Slayton was great. Gave us more than enough. Overall, it was a good effort.
It's a good brand of baseball. It's fun. It's a good brand of baseball. So for those of you who have watched the Red Sox to this point, and again, a lot of people haven't, I'd be curious as to your opinion on that. Do you agree? Because I will say, when they're running around like crazy, it's fun to watch. And last night, they hit the ball out of the ballpark, and really, at the end of the day, what you want more than anything else is the wins. That's what you want, the winning. So in the last week, I would say, yes, the Red Sox have been fun. They've stolen bases. They've hit home runs. They've won 6-2 in their last 8. Now 2.5 out of the wild card, which raises a whole different question. As we approach the annual trading deadline, which is at the end of July or beginning of August, I don't remember, because it moves now a little bit, Jimmy, right? Or is it still July 31st and it just stays there?
I believe it's July 31st.
Okay, so the question is, what if they actually do start to play well and win games? They've basically pitched well all year. What's the ownership and management going to do?
Nothing, because they don't want to win.
Okay.
That would be an annoyance to them, much like a few years ago when they had to go get Kyle Schwarber.
So this is the thing.
It's an annoyance, Maz, that they're winning.
Do you have confidence in them? I guess is what I'm asking.
No.
Fans. Do you have confidence that they will add at the trading deadline?
Breslow's the smartest guy in the room. He used to play, so he knows better now. You can't use that. He has his own set vision. This is an evaluation year for him, and he's not going to make any moves that jeopardize the future. It's a crock of crap.
So here's what I will tell you. That when you have a young team, typically, and we're talking about guys now that have been around for a little bit. When I say around a little bit, they didn't just get here. Rafael has been here all year. Casas has been out all year, but got to the big leagues a year ago. Duran has been here a couple of years now. Wong has been here a couple of years. These guys are starting to weed out the mistakes. Abreu, if they can get him back, you get the idea. So some of the mistakes should start to fade, and you get some more consistency. The point is they start to figure it out. This happened in 2015. People forget this. The final 2 months of that season with Betts and Bradley and Bogarts, they started to play better baseball, and they actually had a winning record. The next year, with David Price, they made the playoffs. Okay, so now they didn't have the pitching, but they added in that winter, and all of a sudden the Red Sox were good again. With this team, what if Ceddanne Rafael is hitting like 500 in the last week? And he hit the ball to the opposite field. Was it last night or the game before against the Yankees? It was a Sunday. Hit a ball into the right field corner against the Yankees that Verdugo couldn't run down. If Rafaela starts to actually figure it out, and I think he's up to 240. I know, sounds funny, but nonetheless, he's improving. What if in the second half they're actually half decent? What if they've been talking about building something here forever? What if it actually starts to happen? Quickly, Martin in Texas. Martin, what do you got?
Hey, Tony. I think that even if they win these next couple series before the trade deadline, I don't think they're going to end up doing anything because they won't identify which prospects are even in the top three, where the odds of the top three, all three of them being all-stars is slim. So identify the right ones to get rid of for what you need to help the team out. Because I think they're just going to stand pat and sit on their hands and not do anything, even if they win every series until July 31st. I just don't believe they're going to do anything, no matter what.
Okay, Martin, you're not alone. A lot of people feel the same way, and I can't say I disagree with you. I don't think they're going to do anything either, which, you know what, is why I'm rooting for them to actually play well. Let's find out. Let's find out. Let's see if ownership will put its money where its mouth is. What if this team starts to play well? They have good pitching. Are they going to go out and make a deal? Are they willing to trade someone from their system to bring in help? Are they willing to push the limit on the luxury tax? Are they willing to do it this year if this team truly surprises them? Tom Werner said before the season, well, just by improving our defense, we think we can win eight or nine more games. What if that happens? You're going to add at the deadline? You're going to do that, Tom? You're going to put a team out there that can actually make a run and potentially win the World Series or at least get in the playoffs? Are you willing to extend for that? So you know what? I'm rooting for it. Let's see. Let's see if the Red Sox can make a little noise. That would be fun. Because the pitching has been pretty good all year. And again, Tanner Houck goes tonight. He is a candidate for the Cy Young Award, and I'm not joking. Don't laugh. He's a candidate. Will it hold up? I don't know. He's been pretty reliable, though. And he looks like a different guy than the guy who pitched in the early part of his career. 617-779-0985. We'll share more Cora comments with you from the weekend. I want your thoughts on the Red Sox. And, again, we'll do trivia a little bit later in the show as well, all in the Baseball Hour.
This is the Baseball Hour with Tony Maz.
Hey, it's Maz for Bigelow.
deep drive left field. This is going to sail. Watch this baby. Way out of here. T.O. touches them all, I should say so. Number 13. Absolute blast to make it 1-0.
Oh, he just absolutely unloads on this.
The payoff pitch. Swinging a high, deep drive left field. That one's back there. That's going to keep on going. That's gone. And the Sox go back-to-back by the big boys. O'Neill and Devers to make it 2-0.
Boy, now they're going deep. The last few nights it's been the running Red Sox. And this little back-to-back O'Neill Devers just reminding everybody we can still lead the yard too now.
Swinging a drive. That one's socked deep to left. Here comes another one. It is gone. The Red Sox for the third time tonight with a solo home run. His 8th to make it 3-1. 2 down to 1-1. And a high fly ball left center field. That one's hit well. Racing back Varsho, going all the way to the wall. And that ball is gone. A home run. Tyler O'Neill for the second time in as many at-bats tonight. Red Sox are killing it. And on top, 4-1.
In this 2024 season with the Red Sox, simple wins. 3 games over 500 might as well be 33 at this stage. But in any case, last couple of days, the last week, they've been especially entertaining. I do want to get to your phone calls. 617-779-0985. Again, Houck on the mound tonight. Blue Jays have been struggling all year. They had a chance to fatten up a little bit. I don't think the Red Sox have been 5 games over 500 all year. If I'm not mistaken, I think they peaked at 4 over. I want to say it was like 17-13, something like that. They were 4 games over. I don't think they've I take it back. They've been 5 over once. They were 18-13. Then they promptly lost 6 out of 7, and that was the end of that. They went through this stretch where they were basically 500, every other day, and they've been that way pretty much ever since until now. So it's been a little bit better of late. Again, 6-2 in their last 8 games, beating some good competition lately. So what do we got? What are we going to get here in the next month, leading right into that trading deadline? Be interesting to see what management and ownership does. Steve in Rhode Island. Steve, what do you got?
Hey, Maz. Good evening, and good evening to Jay Stu. Just 2 Casas things. I don't know if you saw that interview on ESPN on the Sunday night game. It was cringeworthy. Just listening to him, it was just an interesting interview that he did. And part 2,
Steve, I'm gonna pause here just for a second. I did see a little of it. What made it cringeworthy to you?
He was just rambling real fast, talking very fast, switching subjects, going and interviewing other players on his team. While after Dominic Smith made an out, he went over to talk to him. It was just something you typically don't see in those interviews. So
I agree.
I thought it was just. And the other question I had for you was, I know that before and after each game, Cora addresses the beat guys and kind of gives them updates on injuries and the other players, how they're progressing, blah, blah, blah. The interesting thing with Casas is he gives his own updates. He talks to the press himself, the beat guys, and he just tells them, I'm going to be back on July 1st. I'm going to be back on July 15th. Well, it's odd that he's giving his own updates versus Cora. I just didn't know if you saw anything strange with that. That's all I had.
Well, so look, I'm sorry, I let you go. Here's what I would tell you about Casas. To me, Tristan Casas feels like the kind of guy who's his own corporation and loves talking about Tristan Casas. So now, again, I don't know if this makes him a good guy or a bad guy or an egomaniac or what. I'm not telling you, I'm not making that kind of judgment on him. I'm just telling you he talks about himself a lot. A lot. And we know all the activities about sun tanning in the outfield without a shirt on before a game. He got to the big leagues on the first night he was there. He was tanning out on the right field line. And the veterans on the team were looking at it going, would you get a load of this kid? So Casas has no, I don't know what the right word is, no shame. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of humility there. And again, it may serve him well in the batter's box. He's a different kind of cat. Which is fine. I mean, I'm all for that. I'm not telling you there's any problem with it. If you don't hit, you can really wear on teammates with that kind of nonsense. So now, again, if he hits, no one's going to care. It's going to be cute. It's going to be entertaining. So at the end of the day, it's about whether or not he hits. Tom and Quincy. Tom, what do you got?
Hey, what's up, Tony? Hey, I heard you saying, people that have watched this team for a while, been fans of this team for a while, do we find what the brand of baseball they're playing now as exciting or fun to watch? And I will say, I've been watching this team basically my whole life, and I've sat through some really bad baseball. And in the past 4 years, we've seen atrocious baseball. So as far as I'm concerned for this season, it's nice to see them put some entertaining games together for sure. But I'll agree with, I think his name was Martin, that called about they could win every series the rest of the way until the trade deadline, and he's not confident they're going to trade anyone away and acquire anybody. I don't disagree with him on that. I think that they could go about and win the series, 2 or 3 series a week, and until when the time comes, I think that Breslow's looking at this thing going, we didn't picture us in this situation this year, so we're not going to move anybody. And I wouldn't be surprised if they turn around and actually sell. So, but as a fan watching, I'm entertained by them, but it hasn't really changed my opinion on what they are going to be going forward for the rest of the season.
So, Tom, this is the part of it that to me, the Red Sox like to talk out of both sides of their mouths, and this is the circumstance that they're going to find themselves in when they, if they play well, they're going to get themselves in a spot where people are going to look and go, well, you're going to add or not. And you know what they're going to do? I'm glad you brought up that not only are they not going to add, they're going to sell. Kenley Jansen's gone. Kenley Jansen's gone, and the Red Sox are going to try to justify it by telling you they have Liam Hendriks coming back, that syncs up, it lines up so they can let one guy go and bring in the other one to close. Which is all well and good, except that what if you had both of them? What if one could actually be a setup man to the other? You get the idea, and I understand the whole mixing and matching and handling the bullpen is different now than it was years ago. But does it hurt you to have another good reliever in your bullpen? Why couldn't you keep both? What if they actually do make a little bit of noise here and get better? What if that happens? And again, I'll give you Ceddanne Rafaela. In the last 11 games, he's hitting .442. Okay, and in the last 6 in particular, he's had multiple hit games in 5 of them. He had 2 more hits last night. He went 2 for 3. He has gone, in the span of basically less than 2 weeks, he's gone from hitting .202 to .243. Now, again, that is no great shakes. His OPS is still .670. I'm not telling you he's going into the Hall of Fame. But he is becoming a functional offensive player in the big leagues. This is the question with this kid. What if he starts to hit? And then all of a sudden you get Casas back, and now you're actually not only just beating bad teams, but you're beating mediocre teams and the occasional good one. And you get on a pace where you can make the playoffs. You're going to trade Kenley Jansen because you have Liam Hendriks coming back when you could have both? I want to see how they handle it. I want to see how that looks, and you should want to see it too. They say they want to win. They say they want to compete. Teams that want to win and want to compete don't trade Kenley Jansen at the trade deadline. If the team's winning. If the team's losing, it's a whole different discussion. But this is why, on some perverse level, you should be rooting for the Red Sox to get back in it and be in it, to put pressure on ownership and management, and force them to make a decision about, or at least acknowledge publicly what they are. Because they are very reluctant to tell you that they are rebuilding. They've done a better job of it this spring. Sam Kennedy actually came out and said we're still in a building phase. What if the team surprises you? And then you got to look at the roster and say, you know what, if we had picked up another player or a right-handed bat during the offseason, we might actually have a chance to make some noise in this thing. Trivia Tuesday coming up next. Jimmy, how do we want to do this? Do we want to announce callers to call in now, and we'll take them in order of the order they come in, and then if they get it right, we'll keep going until we have a winner? How do you want to do this?
Yes, because if they call now, we can use the break time as far as setting them up to screen them and make sure that they're eligible and going forward to go on the air.
Okay, so you're going to have to refresh me on what the contest line number is.
It should be on a piece of paper in front of you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to find that. Well, it's not on that one. Hold on. Give me a second. No, not on that one either. No, I do not have a phone number on it. I just have an intro.
Oh, there is no phone number on it. That's my fault. So if you want to start calling now, 617-931-0985 is our contest number. We'll take you, we'll screen you, and we'll get you ready for Trivia Tuesday.
Okay, again, and that's 617-931-0985. That's the contest line, not the show line, not the caller line for the program. 617-931-0985. We'll do that next and give away a $50 gas card from Gulf.
Sports Hub headlines.
Baseball Reporters. This is where your baseball knowledge can lead to fabulous prizes. And now, here's your host, Tony Mazzarati.
I forgot that we had this. So, wow, can I just tell you quickly? You know how you know that we haven't done this in a while? Because it still says the Baseball Reporters. So I need to tell everybody the whole story here so they can get a chuckle out of it. I got a chuckle out of it anyway. I don't know if you will. But we have our sales. We have one of our sales guys came in here, I don't know, a few weeks ago. I honestly have lost track of time. It might have been longer than that. But he came in here a while ago. And let's call him Adam. So Adam comes in here and says, yeah, Maz, you're still doing Trivia Tuesday, right? I said, well, actually, we haven't done it in a few years.
Amazing our staff sells the station. They don't listen to it.
Seriously, though, right? Like, you would think that they listen to the program. But anyway, that's okay. I know they get stuff to do. So I said, well, Adam, we haven't done it in a while. And he says, well, we just sold it to Gulf. So, which I was happy to hear because I actually think this is a good year to bring back Trivia Tuesday. Because frankly, I think it's more entertaining than the Red Sox. That's just my personal opinion. So here's what we're going to do. Trivia Tuesday presented by Gulf. The winner, and my goal is to have a winner every week. Winner will get a $50 Gulf gas card. Okay, we'll give one away every week for the balance of the season. All you have to do is answer one trivia question correctly. One. Some are harder than others, but let me just give you an example. For example, we have two contestants on the phone right now. I'll bring up contestant one. I'll ask him a question. If he gets it wrong, we'll bring in contestant two. But I'm not going to ask contestant two the same question. Because while I'm on with contestant one, contestant two could punch it up on his phone and find the answer.
And this region would never tolerate cheating at all for any reason, especially in sports.
At least I won't, Jimmy. That's that is the rule we're going to live by. If contestant two also fails, we'll take two more contestants. So we'll do a total of 4. Is that the idea, Jimmy?
If we get that far, yes. But hopefully we won't. Hopefully it's one and done.
So again, we're going to start out slowly with you. We're going to go easy because we want you to get these right. Again, we want to give away the Gulf gas card. $50 Gulf gas card. Fill up your tank for free. Not a bad deal. So contestant number one, Jimmy, you said line 9, right, is Ryan?
Yes, and also contestants have 10 seconds to answer the questions because I don't want to be here all night while you're fiddle-faddling around with an answer.
So that's another thing. Good point. Soon as I finish the question, Jimmy will start the timer. If you can't get it right in that span, the timer will time out. You lose. We bring in the next question. Okay, again, we don't want you fiddling around on your phone and looking for the answers. You're supposed to know. And if you don't have an idea, take a guess. So we'll bring in Ryan. Ryan, contestant number 1, you ready to go?
I'm ready, Anthony.
Okay, here we go. Fenway Park opened in 1912 when the Red Sox played an exhibition game against this local college team nicknamed the Crimson. Name the team.
Harvard.
Okay, there you go. Very good. He got it.
Let's go.
So, Ryan, I'm going to put you on hold. Don't go anywhere. And give your information to the guys back there. Jimmy, why would I ask that question out of the gate? It's pretty easy, isn't it?
Because wasn't there a bit that happened the last time we did Trivia Tuesday that you were tickled by?
So, yes. So I just want to, we'll again share this with people. We got to have this recorded somewhere. But back in, when I asked this question years ago when we did this, and let me ask the question again just so you all can hear it. Fenway Park opened in 1912 when the Red Sox played an exhibition game against this local college team nicknamed the Crimson. You know what the caller said as a guess? Alabama. Local college team named the Crimson, Alabama.
Roll Tide on that.
Was the answer. So at least we give credit to the contestant this year who actually listened to the question. We'll do it again next week, but congratulations to Ryan. Steve, who's on the line, is contestant 2. Try again next week. Anyway, 617-779-0985 is the caller line. Eric in a car. Eric, what do you got?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go.
Hey, sorry about that. I just have a huge bone to pick with the management of this team. They just played 2 great series against 2 great ball teams. We've got great pitching going on, possibly a Cy Young Award winner, which we just discussed earlier. You've got bats that are hot. You've got a young group of talented players. Make a move. Buy at the deadline. Take risks. Take a chance on this team, because 6 years of building, that's not cutting it. If you're not building, you're buying. So make a decision and stick to it, and it better be a good one, because you got all the pieces right now to buy. And that's all I got to say, Tony. Hopefully you agree with me.
Okay, so Eric, here's what I would say. Why can't it be both? Why does it have to be one or the other? Why can't you be building and buying? Again, the Red Sox have the money to do both. They could have gone out and signed a pitcher on the free agent market this past year. And in fact, I would argue that by making your team better, you can actually make it more appealing to people and get them to sign here. So you know what part of the problem was this offseason? Teams looked at them and said, well, you're not good enough. Why the hell would I come there? Did you know? There was a recent story in The Athletic. Other shows on the station have talked about it. But again, this show, the Baseball Hour, has not been on with regularity in the last few weeks, especially because of the Celtics playoff run. This is something we run into every year. So we haven't been able to talk about every single topic that has popped up with regard to the Red Sox. But here's the point, that the Red Sox in this poll conducted by The Athletic, which was with, there was a pretty much a wide range of players throughout the game that they questioned on various things. One of the questions they asked, where would you most like to play? Fenway Park, the Red Sox, was number 2 on the list. Which team would you most like to play for? The Red Sox finished second. So this idea that guys don't want to play here because the Red Sox aren't good anymore is actually truer than we thought. So you understand what I'm saying, Jimmy? Like, is it more alarming? What's more alarming? That players would say they don't want to play in Boston at all? Or that they do want to play in Boston but still didn't sign here? And to me, it's the second thing. So if the Red Sox finish second in this poll, yes, I would like to play in Boston. Well, then why aren't you here? Well, because the team sucks. Then who do you blame for that?
Well, there's another layer to that, Tony, and the layer is that the Red Sox actually don't want you.
Okay, but again, the player wants to come.
Exactly, but the Red Sox don't want you because you cost them too much money, and that's something that my understanding is there are star players who have wanted to come to Boston, and Boston isn't interested in them because of their price tag.
I mean, that's ridiculous. What's the whole purpose of that? So you have the ballpark, you have the market. Most guys that have come to play here, not all, because it's not for everybody, but most guys who have come to play here say it's nice to show up in a ballpark where there are 30,000 fans in the stands every night. There aren't a lot of places in the game that have that. And I would say during the summer, it's still true. They're not all Bostonians anymore. The visiting teams overrun the ballpark as they continue to do, whether it's the Phillies or the Yankees or what have you, but at least the house is full, as opposed to Oakland or some other podunk town that can't fill the place because nobody gives a rat's ass, or they don't have the ballpark to actually get people in there. The environment here is still good. You still play in front of generally close to a full house, even if they're not all Bostonians anymore. And the fact that they're not coming here, that's a bad sign. So you've got players in the game saying, yes, I want to play there, and the Red Sox still can't get them. Michelle in South Carolina. Michelle, go ahead.
Hey, Maz. 2 questions. First, a comment. I think I'm having the same feeling that the same situation has happened as last year. We're going to be in the running come July. And then during the deadline, we may not do anything. But if we get to the deadline, where do you think we're going to need the most help, and what do you think we should do?
Okay,
that's my question.
Yeah, so Michelle, I'm going to let you go. I think they need a right-handed bat. Tyler O'Neill's back in the lineup. And look, certainly O'Neill has helped. He had 2 home runs last night. They had 4 in the game. Raphael is swinging a better bat now, but he's a bottom-of-the-order guy. They've needed a right-handed bat in the middle of the lineup all year. So, Jimmy, let me throw a absolutely ridiculous name at you because it's worth bringing up given who the Red Sox are playing and, what the potential options are. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. There was a story earlier in the year that if the Blue Jays continue along this path, and they've been one of the most disappointing teams in the game thus far, that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. could be on the trade market. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is not a free agent until the end of the 2026. It might be the end of the 2025 season. But the point is you would get him for the balance of this year and for next year, and then he'd be a free agent. He's been one of the more disappointing players in the game, although the averages come back up. He had a low average and low power output early in the year. He's up to about 7 home runs, I think it is. Last night, he hit 2 freaking rockets in the 2 at-bats that I saw. One was a single, one was a line out. Would you take on Vladimir Guerrero's money if you didn't have to give up much, Jimmy?
I would, absolutely, yes. I want a right-handed power bat, and I know that his numbers of previous seasons have been down. I mean, he's a 284 now and an under 800 OPS, but I'd give it a try for a year and a half and see if he can hit some gold and he can play to Fenway Park.
Do you think there's any chance the Red Sox would do it?
No, God, no. They don't want stars. They're like allergic to stars.
Me neither. How'd you like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. right next to Rafael Devers in that lineup?
Oh, he'd be amazing.
And again, Guerrero's a DH. You don't need a first baseman. But you want to put Guerrero between Devers and Tristan Casas? That would look pretty good, wouldn't it?
How about Pete Alonso? He might be available on the trade market.
Anyway, I'm babbling, but you get the idea.
No. We can't have stars, Tony. Those cost too much money. No.
Let's say the Red Sox are actually in it. There are players out there to get. What's your level of confidence that this ownership and management, after telling you that the team could be better than you think, telling you that they were going to go full throttle, what's your level of confidence that they're actually at? We'll wrap it up with your calls when we come back.
We're going to win some games, you know, and I know everybody thought that the must win was Sunday in Chicago because they had the worst record in baseball. We don't see it that way. You know, we show up every day and we work hard, and like I said, sometimes it's going to be good, sometimes it's going to be great, and sometimes we're going to struggle because that's who we are, and we have accepted that as a team, and we're going to show up every day and try to kick your ass. That's the bottom line. And sometimes we will, and sometimes they'll kick our ass. That's the bottom line.
So it's Alex Cora. Yeah, that was another comment he made over the weekend. And that one there, he says, we've accepted who we are. And I will say there is something about that is somewhat liberating when you're talking about a young team. Cora was not brought here to manage a young team. Cora was brought here to manage a veteran team or an established team that needed to get over the hump and win a championship, which is why they brought him here in 2018. And they did. The Red Sox won a championship. And I don't need to give you all the details again of what went down, but Cora obviously got suspended, cheating scandal. Red Sox brought him back after that. He feels indebted to them. But the fact of the matter is, with the exception of 21, they've had kind of a garbage team. Cora's fed up. He wants out. Can you blame him? So Cora, though, has resigned himself, probably because he has to in order to survive it. Cora has resigned himself to the reality that they're not going to be very good, but they're going to play hard and they're getting entertaining. And there's some level of enjoyment that can come in watching a young team develop, especially if you believe that there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I mean, the Celtics in some ways are a good example of that. They didn't exactly do it the same way. The Celtics did it the way the Red Sox should have, which is they developed the young players and won at the same time. And they didn't win a championship, but they were a competitive product, and they built toward this. That's what you want the Red Sox to do, and instead they're finishing last. They can do both. They should do both. They're capable of doing both. I didn't say it was easy. Matt's in Rhode Island. Matt, go ahead.
Hey, how you doing? Couldn't be happier for the season Tanner Houck's having. He's a great guy. I met him down in Pawtucket. He answered all my kids' questions for like 10 minutes. But especially in taking the line drive off the face last year and coming back. But my point was in relation to what you were talking about, who got guys who wanted to come to Boston. Jordan Montgomery. I know he's having a great year in Arizona, but you know he wanted to come here. He's pitching the AL East. They stiffed him. It's just kind of the mantra of the Red Sox right now. It's disappointing.
Yeah, and Matt, I'll tell you what, I'm going to let you go just because we're up against it. Forget Jordan Montgomery. Again, he's having a bad year, and I'm not telling you he's a bad example. You're right to bring him up. How about Imanaga with the Cubs? So you don't want to give $325 million to Yamamoto? Okay, fine. You couldn't pay Imanaga? You couldn't pay Jordan Montgomery? Flaherty with the Tigers? He was interested in coming here. Detroit gave him 1 year and $14 million. You couldn't pay him. You couldn't cough up for any of these guys, any, and let alone pay for a right-handed hitter to join the lineup. Because what you thought Trevor Story was going to be your number 3 hitter? The part I don't get is even when the Red Sox do spend, they don't spend wisely. They brought Trevor Story in here so they could let Bogarts go. Aside from the fact that he's hurt all the time, Trevor Story's not a number 3 hitter, and he never has been. So the idea that they would bring him to this ballpark and he would somehow turn into a batting champion was asinine. He's a strikeout machine. He never hit outside of anywhere but Colorado. So even when they make decisions to spend, they sign the wrong people. You have a right to expect more. You have a right to expect a team that can rebuild and win at the same time because the Red Sox have the resources to do it. They're starting to win some games. Let's see how it goes, and then let's see if they spend at the deadline. That is going to be the thing to watch in the next several weeks. Again, big picture stories are what's going on with the Red Sox unless they play themselves back into contention. And right now, they may be getting there. We'll see. Joe Murray has got you for the rest of the night. More to follow up on from the Celtics championship. The accomplishments of Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Kevin Majori has got your headlines here. Don't go anywhere. And then Joe has you for the rest of the night.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is the flagship station